Greetings, land of Bitcoin. Greetings, land of Bitcoin. I hope your travels through the cryptoverse are going well this morning. It would appear we have big red candles for breakfast. My last video yesterday, I left off saying I would make a video last night to keep in touch with you. And I fell asleep at my desk and then dragged myself off to bed. I was getting a video ready talking about knowing the difference between panic selling down here at 50,700 and knowing when to cut your losses, the difference between emotional panic selling and being up here at 53,000 and knowing when to maybe cut your losses or take some off the table. And I was getting that video ready for you last night. I fell asleep. And so that's my first losing trade in a long time. And the stupid thing is I've been telling my viewers that this is going to happen, right? If you've been watching my channel, I've been saying this is coming, right? And it's not funny because I know because of the hype squad, the HUD squad, right? The HUD is worse than the FUD. Good morning. I appreciate you showing up. Appreciate you chatting in the chat section. And this is the early bird section this morning, I guess. But yeah, so this is the problem, right, with Bitcoin. I've said over the last few months, I've said many times, I'm a big fan of cryptocurrency. I'm a big fan of Bitcoin. And I'm not a fan of the structure that's been built around it, right? And these futures, ETFs, products that came in that started this pump, starting about right through here, right? This is, I've been saying this is just a big hype pump, right? And that's what it was, and that's what it is, and now we know that. And so I made my last bad video was here, right? I was saying Bitcoin was going to go down from 48,000. I was starting in little short positions here back in the middle of August, right? I was little tiny increments short positions, and then I took profit on all that. I was making profit. They were paying me for the maker to order on the site, and then I took profit right here, right? And then in the last couple of days, for the first time since the middle of August, I opened up a long position, right? Right here, right? It's almost like I bought back in to the constant non-stop hype squad mentality, right? I let it seep back into me. So, I was saying these long positions I was going to take profit like up here at 62,000 because I know there's a dump coming, right? But unfortunately, it only went to 59,000, and this was severe dump. Let me get my chart reset here, and right, my last videos I was saying I'm gonna take profit. I'm gonna start taking profit at 62,000 because this dump's coming, right? So, but there it is. And my last video I was talking about my chart would be broken if this were to go down, but actually it's not. And actually, I'd been warning about this a few days ago. It's almost like I talked myself back into it because I let that hype squad mentality, I let that seep back in. Even though I stopped watching those videos, I could still pick it up in the comment section of my videos, right? People are out there saying Bitcoin's going to 100,000 in December, right? And I've been saying it's delusional, right? So, but that's kind of what's happening. Right, those big channels on YouTube, they're going to come up with, all kinds of different, weird theories of why this happened, and it's the whale's fault, and it's these people's fault and those people's fault, and it's manipulation, and it's rigged, and it's it's the hedge funds, but there's channels out there, and I don't mean to talk bad about people, but it's upsetting to me that the most popular channels on YouTube are telling people that Bitcoin's going to 100,000. There's a massive pump coming. Ethereum's going to 12,000. By the end of December, and Bitcoin's going to 100,000, and Bitcoin's going to 87,000 in the next couple weeks, right? And I let that seep back in, right? If, for those of you watching my channel, you know that my game plan was putting in all those little shorts and just getting paid for the price go up, you know. So I was getting paid in Bitcoin to keep those shorts open, right? I'd been doing that since the middle of August, and it was working wonderfully, right? And I sold for profit here November 28th, November 27th, and I longed from here, right? And it was working out good, but I wish I would have made that video last night. For those of you just joining the live stream right now, last night I was going to make a video talking about don't panic, right? Knowing the difference between panic selling right here when I fired up that last live stream yesterday. The difference between panic selling at 51,000 and just keeping your head about you and watching it come back up here to, you know, it came back up 54,000 right away. You know the difference between panic selling and then making a sound decision at 53,000 to take something off the table, right? And I fell asleep at my desk. I was getting that video ready, you know, saying maybe you take 10% off, 50% off. You know, maybe you just cut your losses and get out, right? You know, take a small loss, and you know, I just would have lost the profit I made over the last few days. But I fell asleep at my desk, and then I was just exhausted, and it was just one of those sleeps that, you know, your body's like, "No, you're sleeping now, dude." So I dragged myself off to bed, and I woke up about a half hour ago or so, 45 minutes ago, and here it is, all the way down to 40,000. So I do apologize, but hopefully the people listening to my channel know to stay small and stay safe. And it's kind of a perfect bad storm on YouTube. It's kind of a combination of big YouTubers that they don't use leverage. They're not traders. They bought years and years ago, and they have all the incentive in the world to just keep pumping out hype. Everything's perfect and awesome. It's always going up, right? It's moon boy, up, and they'll never say anything else, right? When it goes down, it's always somebody else's fault. You know, there's no responsibility for them. You know, back here, right? I've been saying over and over for months. February 21st of 2021, this market topped out at about 59,000 right here. People don't want to hear it, but it's just true, right? The rest of this is just Coinbase IPO hype, took it up a little bit more. You know, a couple of days it went up above it. But this line at 59,000 is basically the top of the market. This was just ETF hype. It's a futures ETF, which is probably going to be bad for Bitcoin. It pumped it way up here from 48 all the way up here, right? And see how short-lived it was. This is the $59,000 line here. This is basically the top of the market, and this is just excessive, what do they call it? Euphoria. Right? Everything above 59,000 is just basically short-lived euphoria. And so for those of you watching, I've been showing this chart here. This is the psychology of a market cycle. And, you know, I kind of got away from it because I just felt like people didn't want to hear it, kind of. And I've been saying for a long time, this is probably where we're at. And this was the dead cat bounce. And it went up higher than old all-time high, right? This was like the Coinbase IPO. And this was the ETF futures hype right here. It pushed it up above it. And I've been saying for a long time, this is the dead cat bounce, even though it's going to go high, even though it's went higher, right? And you can see how this psychology works out. Now, Bitcoin does have a supply crunch on the horizon, so it might not come all the way down. You know, it's way down here. It may never come back down under like 30,000. You know, 28, 29,000 might be the floor. So that would be, you know, like right here, right? It's kind of a hype wave. So this might kind of, these peaks here might kind of end up being kind of up here, right? So it might not be as drastic as a market with a huge supply. But that's a couple years away, right? The Bitcoin supply crunch is not here yet. And you know, I don't want to make excuses because I definitely lost a trade here. You know, I was saying I was going to take profit at 62,000 because the pump, you know, the dump's coming. So my chart's actually not broken. I just chose to not believe what I was trying to tell myself. It happened early in the month, so let's get our blue line in there. And obviously the blue line is let's put it right. I started showing weakness here, but it pumped back up and was on top of the channel. So let's put it here. December 3rd. See, it's real early in the month. That's the first time a huge crunch, a huge crash has came so early. Now the red line was November 26th, so that is a week later. There was one other time where it happened that fast, and that was right here. Let's look at this. Let's look at the one thing we can compare it to. And it was right here, the one in June. The red line was June 25th, and the dump started actually June 30th. It recovered a little bit, and then it proceeded to dump down. And so now we want to watch this activity. This is this pink line at the bottom here. Let me get rid of this pink line up here. That might confuse. This pink line down here at about 29,700 is probably going to be heavily protected by people with huge influence on social media and the media at large. And so this is going to be interesting to watch here. So this was this dump here, the other one that happened so soon after the red line. This happened over 3 weeks, and that's actually over a 20% dump, but it happened over 3 weeks, so you can't really see it, right? This whole thing right here, and this is where I was making videos saying it was probably going down to 20,000 and get ready to buy at 20,000 or below, and it was protected here. So it's gonna be interesting to see if December 31st is gonna be a green line and not a red line. So we'll have to see. Starting to dump December 3rd and dump all the way down over here to this light blue line right here is December 31st. So for it to keep dumping from December 3rd all the way to December 31st, it's kind of hard to imagine, but it could. It could. You can see the activity after the last huge crash back in May. It just kind of went sideways basically for a month in a wide range from 29,000 to 41,000. So watch it range. Watch it range from say 40 to 42,000 area up to like in between like 53. That's probably too high. Watch out for the range between 50,000 and 41,000, 40,000, 42. The 40,000, just say 40 to 50,000, just to keep it simple. Watch out for Bitcoin for the next month. If it doesn't recover right now, which is kind of hard to imagine, this is going to take a lot of the steam out of Bitcoin because a lot of people just got hurt. It's kind of like back here in May, right over here on the left here. Kind of like here, a lot of people lost a lot of money, right? And it took a kind of an artificial pump here to get people excited, and then all the new people are getting drawn in, the public's getting drawn in, and then here's the ETF hype. Oh yeah, super amazing, right? And this is what I said was going to happen, but of course for the first time in 4.5 months, 5 months, 6 months, I put in a long position and got burned. So that was bad. But that's just how it is. That's the problem. I got to get to that earlier. It's kind of a perfect bad storm. On YouTube is there's people that don't use leverage and they bought years ago and they have hundreds of thousands of subscribers and get tons and tons and millions of views a week, and they're feeding that to the public. But there's other channels that force leverage trading down your throat, right? It's nonstop. Go here, sign up, and you get a bonus, and leverage trade, 10x, 20x leverage. And so there's those channels, and then there's those other channels that don't use leverage, and they're telling people Bitcoin's going to 100,000 by the end of this year. In December it's going to 100,000. And then there's other channels. What's up, Polio? It says I've been buying dips in small amounts. And that's the best way to do it, right? Don't use any leverage, because in the long run, Bitcoin will go up. That's the whole beauty of Bitcoin. But there's a bad mix out there, right? So people are hearing from the real popular channels, Bitcoin is going to 100,000, Ethereum's going to 12,000 or 20,000 by the end of December. And then there's other channels that people watch. Other people are watching different channels. And then they're telling people to trade. So a lot of what's happening is this super high leverage. There's tons of leverage in this market, and it's being basically done by the public, who doesn't really understand that these huge crashes come, right? The hedge funds and the big money players, they have enough money to make this happen over and over and over and over, right? And it's been happening since February 21st, right here, right? It's the same thing over and over and over, and that's what my little wonder chart is showing, right? So my chart's still good. My interpretation of it was bad, but hopefully no one got stupid out there, right? Never risk anything you can't lose. And it hurts losing, but if you're just using your head, then you can stay safe. But unfortunately, that was the loser. But I guess I'm kind of rambling. Anyone got questions or anything out there for me? Let me know in the live chat. I'm gonna get going here, get my day going. I got some football to watch. Oh yeah, this is a wonderful time. From time to time, I throw out football bets. So I'm talking like $20, $50, right? Fun, entertainment. I don't know who I'm talking out there, so I'm kind of reluctant. Don't be stupid. Don't gamble. And there's a game coming up today. It's Michigan, Iowa. Iowa is an 11-point underdog. Historically, Iowa in big games as big underdogs, they play way over their head, and they usually play exceptional. When they're the hype team, like a month or so ago, they're number 2, number 3 in the country. They come out flat, and they get beat badly. When they're a big underdog in a big game, they play almost every single time. They play just wonderful. So 11 points is probably too much. But Michigan is better than they are, most likely, and the spread is probably right. The spread should probably almost be 20 points. But Iowa does have a habit of playing exceptional in big games, and 11 points is a lot of points. So there's that. Throw a little football bit. I'm 1-1 on two recommendations. But also Alabama, a 6.5-point underdog to Georgia, is probably too much points as well. But I'm talking $20. I'm talking about enjoying your Saturday, right? If you lose, oh well, who cares? If you win, great. Or just don't do it. But there's a difference, right? There's a difference between understanding risk level. So if you want to lose $20 Saturday for fun and entertainment, Iowa plus 11, probably Alabama plus 6.5. If you can get them at 7, even better. But I'm out of here. I do apologize for falling asleep last night. I was going to make a video saying, knowing the difference between panic selling at 50,800 and letting it bounce back up to 53, 54, and then making the sound non-emotional decision to take some off the table. And I fell asleep. And it cost me, right? I lost that trade, so I don't want, when I'm wrong, I lose, right? I'm not sitting here saying Bitcoin's going to 100,000, and then when it dumps down to 40, I'm not, blaming the IMF or the Treasury or the government, right? It's those big YouTubers are the more problem than almost anything else, right? They're telling hundreds of thousands of the public members Bitcoin's going to 100,000. So, and then they're watching other channels and they're using leverage and they're placing bets in the futures and options markets. And Bitcoin's not going to 100,000, right? I've been saying it's delusional, right? And it's just bad. So just be careful. And The good thing is let me show you one last time. This plays out. This is, this is hundreds of years old. These patterns, right? So the good news is when when the tide rolls back out and all the injured whatever is laying on the beach catching their breath, all the seals and little fish, right, and the whales are out there with all the money laughing at you, and when it comes back down here and settles down, this is when you'll start buying like Ethereum, and I'm gonna buy some Neo and probably some Chainlink, right? And of course you want to own Bitcoin because in time it will go up. But I'm just talking about straight owning, right? So the good part is it is going to be a good time just to buy on the spot market with no leverage. And I would recommend Neo, Neo. I would recommend Ethereum, ETH. And I would recommend Chainlink, LINK. And just just kind of dollar cost average into those non-leverage. Those are my three picks, and they actually do something, right? Those are products that actually do something. It's basically kind of like buying the internet. If you could have bought a small percentage of the internet 30 years ago, you'd be basically a billionaire. So Chainlink, Neo, Ethereum would be my three picks. Is three cryptocurrencies that do something, right? They have a purpose. It could basically be like buying the internet 30 years ago, right? Or buying, if you could have bought Amazon or Google, the very first day it was possible, right? And of course, own some Bitcoin in time. It's going up, but for right now, this is basically where we are. The supply crunch is probably years away, probably the next halving cycle. So this psychology is definitely in play, and it probably won't go down. There probably won't be this over here, right? It'll probably be like up in here, right? Because there is a supply crunch on the horizon, right? So 29,000 is probably the floor of Bitcoin. But I'm going to get going now. I apologize for falling asleep last night, and I don't have any excuses for that, except for I fell asleep. But anyways, I lost, so I don't want to make it seem like when I'm wrong, I pay for it. So if I give out wrong information, then I'm wrong and losing as well. So I'm not turning around and saying, blah, 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 blah. But, there it is, right? What I said is going to happen. Oh, did I erase that chart? I erased that chart. Anyways, let's zoom out on this. That market cycle psychology chart I just showed. Can you see it? I've been talking about it. I almost feel like I talked about it so much I almost chase away subscribers. But there it is. See what I'm drawing there? See that? Market cycle psychology. And this one came up a little higher this time. See that? And this is where we're at right now. Right? So I don't think it's going to come, like this, right? I think it's probably going to come and kind of do, one of these, something, This pink line is 30,000, so something in here, right? I don't think it's going to come down to like 10,000 or something like stupid like that, right? I think this pink line is probably going to be predicted by billionaires, so that's something to look forward to. Alrighty, but yeah, so Neo, Chainlink, Ethereum, products, cryptocurrencies that are real and serve a purpose and could be exceptional over the next decade or two. It could be generational money, right? That much is true, but just be careful and use your head and enjoy football today and watch out for Alabama and Iowa playing well as underdogs in big games. And as always, thanks for watching.